Set to go though. So welcome to our Banker to Broker session, sponsored by Mortgage Architects. We are looking forward to a great discussion today with three of our top agents within MA and team leads within an MA to talk about their journey from the bank side to the broker side. And this session is pretty personal to me because I'm also a banker to broker person. I am 7 months into my role as the president of Mortgage Architects. Prior to that, I had a long career on the lending side, so working within a major bank before coming. So I'm always interested to hear the journeys and perspectives of others that have gone through that sort of change. And why don't we introduce the panelists so that everyone has a sense of who's here today, and then we can get into it. Sarah, you want to take that?
Yeah, I'm just making them co-hosts, so you guys should be able now to start your camera.
There
There we
we go.
go.
Perfect
Perfect. Hi,
timing.
Sharon.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Oh,
Hi,
there
Sharon.
you
There we are.
go.
Everybody's here.
Hi.
Yay. Okay, so we're gonna get started. We're so excited. Thanks, Mike, for the brief intro. We're really excited to take you through things today. To kick it off, we've got three amazing bankers turned brokers with us today, who represent, all different levels of experience in the industry, coming from different financial institutions. So it's great because we're covering quite a wide range. And they're all across Canada as well. So that's very exciting. So we have Tara Borle. Let's start off with Tara. Alberta. So she's in Alberta, Edmonton. Tara was a mortgage specialist with TD for over 15 years, and then she made the switch to brokering in 2011. And she now runs a big national team. You may have heard of her, over 260 agents who have collectively already hit and surpassed $1 billion in volume this year. So Tara's quite a big deal.
All right.
And
Thank you, Sarah. That's a nice intro.
and we just had her as a speaker actually at MPC. So if you were MPC in Montreal, Tara spoke there. And she was selected as one of the concurrent speakers, which was really exciting for us all. And then let's talk about now Sharon Patton. So Sharon comes from Ontario. So we've moved from Alberta to Ontario. And hi, Sharon.
Hi.
And Sharon was 17 years at Scotiabank. So we've got a TD now at Scotiabank. Sharon decided to switch to brokering in 2001 for several reasons. She now runs a team and is a founding member of C5 Collective, which is a really, really great group of pooling agents working together. And she's a co-founder of the Separation Network, which has created an extremely successful business out of this niche market. And she really has become a go-to source for support with people's finances and beyond during that difficult period in their life. So she's really great and excellent to speak to niche markets and how the riches are in the niches.
For
All
sure.
right. And then last, we're going to move over to Essy. Hi, Essy.
Hi.
So Essy's coming to us from the East Coast. And Essy was 12 years working her way up in the bank. I think you said you started when you were 17 years old.
I was 17. Yeah, I wasn't legal to drink. They wouldn't let me go to the Christmas parties.
Oh, the spiked eggnog, eh?
Yeah.
So she worked her way all the way up to becoming a leading mortgage specialist. And then she decided to leave and transition to the broker role with Mortgage Architects. And she's been with us, I think, just coming up on a year now, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a year next month.
Which is great because now we have another perspective. So being the newest of the panelists, she brings some fresh insight into what it's like to make the transition in the here and now. All right, so
Thanks
thanks
again.
guys for joining us. We're gonna now just switch it off to introduce our presidents. So
Keith.
Tara, do you want to introduce Mike?
Well, I think that MA is really lucky to have Mike Eyre as our president. Mike's background is he was an RVP with Scotiabank, and so Mike comes to us with lots of knowledge from the banking side of things. And Mike worked really closely with the brokers whenever he was at Scotiabank. And I think having Mike on our team is a big win for all of us at MA.
Yes,
Very kind. Thank you,
absolutely.
Tara.
Yeah, thank you. So we're gonna have questions at the end. For those of you who do have questions. But there is a Q&A chat that you can type them in as well, if you did want to prompt something. But probably we're going to leave them for the end unless it's something that we're already going to cover. Okay, so we're on to the next Get to Know MA.
All right.
Mike.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's cool, Sarah, I'll start
Yeah,
on
go ahead.
this, and I think I got to know MA as Tara mentioned as a lender partner of MA for many years. And one thing I like to tell people is that lenders are often together at events and what have you in the industry. And often in rooms where there's no brokers present, and we would talk amongst each other about, how is it going? How's this network doing? How's this brokerage doing? And that sort of thing. And one thing that I can say about MA is long before I was associated with it, MA's reputation behind closed doors is top notch. Our lender partners and industry partners in general look to MA as an exemplary brokerage where, we have high integrity, a great group of brokers. There's a strong sense of community amongst MA, even though we have people across the country in different teams doing all different types of business. There's this connective tissue throughout, and we absolutely have a particular culture as a network and a full service brokerage, and I think that's reflected in what you see on the screen here. We won earlier in the year a best full service brokerage at the Mortgage Awards of Excellence, which reflects the efforts both of our amazing head office team and of the brokers that we have across the country. And then, look at things like the Outstanding Women Leaders Awards. MA had 7, which I think is up there, either tied or maybe is the highest of any network in terms of nominations. And then again, just recently at the Mortgage Professionals Canada Conference that just took place in Montreal, we had more speakers there from our network than any other network. So you can really see MA is prominent in the industry. We're thought leaders in the industry. We have brokers who are very prominent names in education and training. We've written books, have done speaking engagements, sort of thing. So we're very proud of the place we are in the culture and brand that we represent. All right. You want me to continue on this? Top things you need for a successful transition. So we'll get started talking about banker to broker and what that means. And for those of you watching this presentation who are in a bank role and might be thinking about taking that jump, I think the first one is really the most important of anything is mentorship. And I've heard this time and time again from bankers and mortgage specialists who are interested in the jump to the broker side or maybe have taken that jump. Really, what defines being able to be successful versus not is really landing in the right place and having the right mentor. There's a lot to learn in a broker channel. It's not sugar-coated. It's not a straight jump where it's very, very similar to being a mortgage specialist on the bank side. It is a new world, both in terms of navigating several lenders instead of one lender, and understanding what the relationship is like between broker and BDM and lender and head office and the entire ecosystem. There's also even personal things, just like how you structure your own business now that you're working for yourself instead of being part of an organization. So I think all that to say that having a good mentor is absolutely key to success in this business. And that's why MA is structured in a way that we're a team-based approach. We have a number of lead planners and team leaders across the country, all of whom offer different approaches depending on the specific support and type of mentorship you're looking for. But we do have different solutions for different people coming from different situations. But the one common thread is that we do believe in mentorship and team support and making sure you're equipped with the right tools and personal connections that you need. Lender access being the second one. This should be really table stakes, I think, for anyone looking to move. And those of you who are mortgage specialists may not know this, but not all brokerages and networks have the same lender access. And it's a very important question to ask because there's two things when we say lender access that we're talking about. One is literally access to submit deals to certain lenders, and not all lenders are connected to all brokerages. The other is status. So just because you have the ability to submit files to a lender, your compensation, the rates you have access to, the type of underwriting you have access to, might be associated with the status that your brokerage has with that lender. And so it's important questions to ask, making sure that anywhere you're looking at joining has top status and access to the lenders that will be important to you. And MA, as one of the largest national brokerages, we're very proud to have great relationships with all lenders, big and small, across the country. And with that comes top access and top status. Lastly, systems are absolutely key, especially if you're getting started. Having a good CRM, having a good platform to submit files to lenders, and having all the other associated technology is very, very critical for success in business. One advantage that we have is that we actually our parent company is the owner of the technology company that we use for a lot of what we do day to day, and that's company's called Newton. The product that we use is called Velocity. And having that common ownership has been just a game changer, in my opinion, because it really does allow us as the business, as the brokerage, to have that direct line into a technology provider when we need something changed, when we think something can be done better, when we see an opportunity to evolve the way a system works. We are all aligned. We're part of the same parent company and have the ability to work very, very closely with the folks at Newton to make sure that our systems are right in sync with what we need as a brokerage. It's a company that's run by former brokers and broker owners, and they understand what's needed. So very proud of our association with them. So pause there so we can keep going. Okay, and last, before maybe I kind of want to, instead of answering this myself, this
Yeah.
is a good one for the panelists. So I'm
Yeah.
going to open it up and just ask our three panelists on the call, in their opinion, what makes MA the best spot for a transition from banker to broker. Who wants to go first?
I could go first, Mike. I
Sure.
100% believe that MA is the best place to go when you're at a bank and moving over to the broker side, simply because of the support we have. When I was working at TD, I felt like I had support there, but then whenever I switched over to MA, it's unreal how you think people might be competing with you and they might not want to help you. That's not at all how Mortgage Architects runs. We are, like you mentioned, like a big family. We've got a really good interactive Facebook group, MA Roundtable. People are always posting questions on there. Hey guys, I've got this situation. And it's not just a one-word answer. The responses in our group chat are, hey, listen, call me. I'd love to help you. I'll walk you through that. So 100%, I believe MA is the best place to go when you're moving from banker to broker, simply because of the support and the lender access that you mentioned too, Mike, which is so important, because the reason you're becoming a broker is so you have access to all of these different lenders. MA will set you up so that you are set up with the best pay and the best underwriters and the best lender access. So we're lucky to be with MA.
Yeah, I'll second what Tara said, but I think I'll add to, like, the team approach. The team approach is huge because when you come over to this side, you're not at a branch anymore. You're not connected to, like, you can be a really an island into yourself. And I love that MA has the team approach, so that you come over, you become part of a team, and there's your support network, right? And then the entire brokerage on top of that. But the team aspect is huge in those little questions in navigating all of this, right? I think the team approach is, I think honestly, the big thing is you're not alone. You're not sitting in your office working alone. You always have people to connect with, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's on the phone, or you work in an office with other people. You have that connection, and it's so important to have that connection in this day and age.
Great.
So you guys all said the things that I was going to say, but the thing that I would add to that, having recently transitioned, is that technology is such a big piece of our business, right? And coming from the bank, I knew those systems inside and out, and I was a very busy mortgage specialist. So when I made my transition, which I did during the slow time of the year, if you will, being December, which was still pretty busy for me. One thing that really sticks out to mind is how like seamless that transition was. And really the reason it was seamless is not because technology worked perfectly. I think I'm not going to sit here and gaslight people into thinking technology is always working the way you want it to. But when I was getting things set up, I remember just a few of the little things that came up. I had immediate help. I hopped on the phone. I called Jody. I called Sarah. Like we were able to get things flowing so that I had zero interruptions to my business. And I was able to keep doing deals, and I was writing deals like in the first day that I started because I had access to some training that I could look at myself on my own time, and then I had access to a whole team of people. And also, Velocity support desk was great as well if I wasn't able to reach somebody right away for something urgent. So that level of support is amazing from the team aspect and what, Sharon and Tara mentioned, but it's also very important from a technology standpoint so that your business can keep moving through that transition. Because for me, that was one of the biggest concerns that I had was being busy and kind of being scared about, okay, what happens to my clients in that transition? And I was blown away by how well it went, honestly.
Wonderful. Okay, let's keep moving here. We talked a little bit about lender access, but I think this just kind of outlines specifically what we're talking about. So it's not just compensation. That's always seems to be the first place people go to, and that is very, very important. But it's other things like just sometimes there's access to specific products, specific rates. Different underwriting models where you have dedicated support and maybe a higher touch model with faster service, and so forth. So it is something that's a very important consideration for anyone thinking of making the jump to make sure that wherever you're going is able to set you up with top lender access. So keep going here. And here's a list of some of the lenders we work with. So my observation on this would be, you're going to recognize a lot of the names on this list, everything from the big banks to mortgage finance companies to alternative lenders to credit unions and beyond. I know Neo is there in Stars because they are an exclusive lender to us that is not available to other networks. And I think this list is going to keep growing. I am very optimistic on where the broker channel stands in the Canadian mortgage industry right now. And we are already having a lot of discussions with lenders not on this list that are interested in potentially entering this space. I think lenders have realized that the mortgage brokers are where a lot of Canadians want to go for mortgage advice. And lenders want to be where their customers are at or their potential customers are at. So I think we are in a good spot as an industry that we have access to some of the best and biggest lenders in the country, but this list is only going to continue to get bigger. So we can keep going here. So let's switch gears for a second and just talk about some of the services that MA offers. I can start by speaking briefly about the CUU or Central Underwriting Unit, and then we'll continue on from there. But this is a great option for a number of scenarios where a broker that joins may not want to or be able to submit directly to a lender. So a good example would be if there's an out of province deal, you come across a deal that's referred to you for a mortgage that's in a different province, in a province that you're not licensed in. We can still help you get those deals done through our central underwriting unit, where we're licensed across the country and can help with that. Sometimes brokers choose to use a central underwriting unit simply because it's a means of handing off a file and letting someone else deal with the lender, deal with the underwriting piece, so you could move on to your next deal. As simple as that. And of course, there are access to all lenders. So in situations where maybe you haven't signed up with a lender because they're not a lender you typically use, but then a file crosses your desk where you need that lender, we ensure that you have quick access to that lender through our central underwriting unit.
And
Okay.
feel free to chime in here,
Yeah.
Tara, Sharon and Essy, if you have any comments on any of these tools or have used them before.
Yeah,
Have
just a
you
quick.
sent, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, Sharon. Yeah, just a quick thing to add there is that for me, like I was doing a lot of mortgages across Canada. So as a broker now, some of those clients still want to work with me and I still want to work with those clients. I might not want to refer it to somebody else. The CUU has been absolutely phenomenal in those cases. And really, if I compare working with them versus working with the lender directly here in New Brunswick, the service level, the timelines, like they're really, really good. So I can't speak highly enough of that. And it really was something that helped me because that was, again, one of my concerns is how do I do deals across the country? I don't want to lose my clients. So yeah, no, they're absolutely awesome.
100%. I would agree. Like with being in Ontario, you all know we've had a lot of migration out of the province. And those are clients you've dealt with for years and years. And then they tell you, hey, we're going to move to BC, we're going to move to Alberta. Like a lot of ours have gone west, but absolutely so important to have access to uh, the approvals for out of province because your clients still want to deal with you. Like my clients who've moved to BC and Alberta still call me for their renewal, still call me for advice on that file. So you still want to be that expert that they rely on. And this just gives you that option to, not have to be licensed in every province and have the expertise for that province as well, right? That's really important that when you're sending this to the CUU, they know the rules and regulations around the interprovincial stuff that you may not know.
Absolutely. Good points. Great. Okay. Keep moving here. Okay, so full service compliance. I'll take this one quickly and then I want to stop talking and pass it around a little bit more here. But I think it's worth mentioning AML, right? If those of you that are in the bank world, you're probably familiar with AML, anti-money laundering, and FinTrack regulations. What you may not know is that's something that's new to the broker channel as well. So it's interesting. When I'm talking to our brokers who are recently bankers, they're very familiar with it. It's the brokers that have been brokers for a long time that this is a bit of a bigger change for. But nonetheless, as many of you know, AML and FinTrack and reporting suspicious transactions and everything else that comes with it is a big compliance requirement in our business. And it's something where I think a larger network like MA has the opportunity to excel because we do have the resources and the technology to put a solution together so that when a new big regulatory burden like this comes our way, we can handle it, we can integrate into our processes, and our goal is always to take anything that comes our way and make it as seamless as possible to brokers so that brokers can focus on their business and not have to be bogged down with compliance. And the same thing goes just for day-to-day file compliance. And the requirements to go with that. We do have a wonderful compliance team that works very hard to review all files, make sure we're compliant with the regulator, and deal with any issues that come up. So that's an advantage we have as a full service brokerage is just having a really robust compliance team and process with good technology so that it is a seamless process for you. Anybody want to add anything to that?
I'll just add that, like, while we're having this discussion in the last month, while this has been coming out, a lot of smaller brokerages have really struggled with this. There's a lot of questions out there saying, how do you set this up? Do you know what the next step is? Because, we don't have things come out in black and white for regulation, and we have to put the things in place. So I was really, really grateful that actually we're with a brokerage that just took care of all this and was like, here's what you have to do. You trained us on it and we can keep going with our business. And we weren't spending all this time trying to figure out this compliance stuff that, isn't generating, business for us. So I was really grateful for that when I saw how many people in the industry really struggled with this at smaller brokerages.
I agree. I think it just reflects MA's commitment to the brokers within our MA team. Just, you know what? We have to deal with these FinTrack regulations. This is how we're going to dealt with it. And, it just gives me peace of mind that if something else comes up, I just know that we're in good hands.
Yeah.
100%. I echo what you guys just said. Absolutely. It was very black and white and like, here's the, 1, 2, 3 steps instead of a big confusing thing that we had to interpret. So it was awesome.
Right.
Okay. Sarah, you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the training goes on from there. We're not just limited to compliance. We do have a little bit more fun training as well. So I myself, I do what's called Tip Tuesdays. This usually focuses around marketing, sales, or really hearing from some of our top agents that we house and talking about, for example, Sharon's come on to speak about uh, dealing with mortgages and separations. And we really do try to bring in some of our top experts and allow them to speak to our brokers kind of in a smaller, a little bit more intimate atmosphere and come together and share, ask questions and support one another. Then we have Mike's president's calls. We have just a plethora of regular sessions that you can expect from head office. So I like to kind of consider it multi-layered support because we have the head office support and training, and then we also have the team on the ground, which would be the Sharon's team, for example, the C5, Tara's team, and then Essy, the team that she's a part of, would do their own training as well. So it really is kind of more how much time do you have for training as opposed to really, a lack thereof. Then Jill as well, who's a part of Tara's team, does the mortgage nerd training. And that's been really great because that's very deep dive underwriting training that we've had exclusively for mortgage architects. I know that she normally does sessions that are kind of pay to play, pay to attend, but we've covered that cost for all of our agents so that they can reap the benefits of Jill's top-notch training in the industry.
Sarah, I'm going to chime in real quick on that as
Yeah.
well. The training that I believe MA has, we're not just having training to say, oh yeah, look, we've got training. Like Jill is doing one, I think today on rental analysis and
Hmm.
which lender has the best rental spreadsheet and how to fill it in. So it's not just training on how to get business. It's actually how to get the deals done and which lender is a great niche for where to place your deal, which I think a lot of brokers struggle with, especially whenever they come to the bank, because they're always thinking, like, my background is TD, so I was always trying to fit everything in at TD. With the training, you learn, oh, you know what? This file actually fits a little bit better at Scotiabank because they have a better rental offset, or it's easier. They use a market rent where TD I need a lease. So the training is, I know it is the best in the industry.
Can I just quickly chime in too?
Yeah.
I just want to say that when I was at the bank, I mean, I was, 12 years in banking, I did not get anywhere near the level of training that I've been able to access since making the switch over. And big part of that is Jill's training. Jill is one of the most sought out trainers or whatever you want to call it in the industry, and she's just incredible. And some of the things that I've learned through her training just completely blew my mind. Like I thought that I knew mortgages inside and out, and I'm very happy to report that that's not the case, but I'm always continuously learning. And you can't do that unless you have somebody who is an expert who's able to make it in bite-sized information that anybody can consume and understand. So that's really huge, even for me with all of my experience.
Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to go so fast.
Right.
If
No, it's a
anyone
continuation.
has anything to add, it is a continuation. Yeah. So the train, I guess I did say multi-layered, but I forgot one of the layers. There is the top layer, which is the DLCG. So we are part of the DLCG umbrella group of companies. Mortgage Architects, we're our own company, we're our own, independent network, our own leadership and everything. But we get the advantage of being part of the biggest network out there, which is the DLCG network. Really, to put it into perspective, DLCG, they won the best network in Canada at the Mortgage Awards of Excellence 2024, and we won the best full service network at the Mortgage Awards of Excellence. So that being said, and the marketing, actually, the marketing team won the top marketing awards. So that being said, it really is the best of best across the board. We get to benefit from being a part of all that comes with the largest group all the resources there in terms of marketing, in terms of the regular training. We have the best conferences, the best trips. I know we have coming up, and we've already done one in Vancouver, then we're going to Edmonton, and then Toronto coming end of November, Agent University. So we really believe in investing back in our agents. And those are really exciting sessions. I know the Vancouver one went over very well. And it's just a day and a half intensive business training, bringing together about 600 agents in a room, as well as top CEOs and top coaches to really guide them through this marketplace and help their businesses level up. There's a little bit of community aspect to it as well, which we really love. I know we have the mortgage show once a month, and that we like to feature some of our agents even on fun stuff outside of mortgages, and go over, industry updates, where the finance, where the rates are at, all of that. And also Greg Donville does a great job of power calls with our industry partners and lenders. Anybody have anything to say on these ones?
I'll just say I came back from the Agent University.
Yeah.
We did our first one of these, and this is an in-person event. We had our first one of the series in Vancouver, and it was amazing. Tara and Essy were both there. We had 400 or so people in attendance, tons of great content, and in addition to the content, it's just such a great networking opportunity. Meeting different brokers with different backgrounds, sharing best practices. So all in all, these events always reinforce why we do them, because they're such a great opportunity to meet and connect and learn. And I've always been someone who's very much of the belief that events are great to have. They're very important to building a culture and to all getting better at what we do. So I can tell you that with MA, we're only going to continue to lean into that and continue having more opportunities to get together to both learn and further our knowledge and celebrate our successes.
All right, a little bit on systems. Now, coming from the bank, you're used to just using that one system that the bank offers. But on this side of things, we do find that any bankers that make the transition, and maybe you guys can speak to this, are just blown away by the technology and, how modern and how much we invest in the systems. Because really, you are a business for self, you're an entrepreneur, so you need a full end-to-end business running technology, including everything from submission to lenders responses, safe document uploads, all communication with clients, online application, and then as well like CRM, client relationship management systems that are super high touch and help keep your client in the loop. And then also with, for example, this big renewal market coming up in the next 3 years, we're seeing about 80% of Canadian mortgages up for renewal, which is the biggest in history. And we really want to make sure that our agents get in on that. So having drip campaigns, for example, going out to their clients, to remind them of that renewal and speak to their broker. We've seen a lot of successes with. I know I keep hearing statistics from our brokers, but it's been pretty cool. One such says that just from his systems that we've implemented for him, he hears from 3 people a day, 3 of his clients who his system has, mailed on his behalf. And he usually gets at least one deal a week out of it, which is really, really cool, because you can start to be a little bit more passive when you have a system that kind of acts as a personal assistant for you. You guys, I know that you each have experience with using these systems. Do you have any comments there?
My comment is that when I made the switch, the biggest thing, well, when I first started, the first thing I should say that blew my mind was that I can actually send a link for my client to complete their application. And I did the application myself, and it took me 10 minutes. And it was super easy. It was super smooth. It was super step by step. It's been incredible. I had a 72-year-old do it the other day, and she said it was easy. And I thought, wow, okay, this is the validation I need. But the bigger point is that when I was at the bank, I had an assistant who built my applications for me, and she would spend 30 to 45 minutes taking somebody's driver's license and, inputting all their information. And then she had a big list of questions. How long have you lived there, et cetera. Velocity just streamlines all of that, and my clients do that work so that I don't have to pay somebody to do it. And the client is happy to do it because you're asking them to not talk, but type about themselves, like what's your name, what's your date of birth, what's your address, and it takes them no time to do it, but it saves a tremendous amount of time from this end because by the time that you get the application, you're just reviewing the application with your documents and tweaking whatever you need to, which has been for me anyways, coming from the bank that I was at, has been an incredible time saver. I never would have had that option there.
I'll add that being on this side of in the broker world for 12 years, we've seen a lot of changes, and this is like night and day from when I came over 12 years ago. But it is a one-stop shop. Like you store all your clients' data in here. Like Sarah said, you can pull your reports, but all your documents are saved in here. Like everything is in one system for your client-based stuff. And to me, that's really important because I don't want to learn 4 or 5 different systems and be utilizing 4 or 5 different systems every day to get my job done. I know that I can just go into Velocity and everything I need for my clients is in there. So for me, that one-stop shop is huge. And I'll agree, like I don't have any clients. I'm all completely paperless, and I don't have any clients who stumble with that online application.
I agree 100% with both of your comments. I have assistants that work for me, and it works well with them working on the same file as me because we can jump in and jump out, and the information is saved. So yeah, it's a great system.
If anybody on the line as well is curious about seeing the client-facing online application, I'm happy to send you mine. You should all have my email by now. You should have received the emails to register and whatnot. It's just sarah@mtgarc.ca. Shoot me an email and I'll send you that app to play around with. All right. Okay, on to your mobile app. So we're going to talk a little bit about another tool. Hopefully some of the panelists here have used this tool. I absolutely love this. It's like having your own calculators, CRM, and rates in your pocket. Not only that, it is built to be client and referral partner facing. So you can easily have people download your app. You can text it to them directly from the app, or it does come with a QR code. Some people like to print that on their business cards, or even if they have a storefront, put it in the window for people to just scan the QR code and download. This is groundbreaking. It's from the Canadian Mortgage App Company. They always win the Apple and Google awards for Best Canadian Mortgage App of the Year. And this is just our own Mortgage Architects designated version. All of our agents get the pro version included in their Mortgage Architects membership, which I know a lot of them have found to be absolutely paramount, especially I think with these refinance analyzers, given the times that we're in and the rate search as well. In the top right corner, you guys can see my little QR code here. If you want to hold up your phone, open your camera, and just scan to download, I welcome you to do so to play around with my app. Now, mine, you see, is pink. That is just to demonstrate that you can brand it for you. It has your own picture, your own colors, your own everything that you want. What has been your guys' experience with the app?
Well, what I will say is the number of people who message me like, oh, what if I bought for this price? Well,
Mm,
what if I did this? What if I did that? Has dramatically reduced because I just tell people to download the app. If they have a couple of questions, we go through how to use it. But it's super smooth because somebody that's a not job hunting, but house hunting, when they're out at these open houses and they're
mhm.
thinking, oh, geez, what would this look like from a payment perspective? They have it in their pocket and you don't have to be on 24/7 answering those simple questions. So it really gives people a very
Yeah.
easy self-serve option to answer those really kind of basic questions that otherwise would be high touch for us.
Yeah, I think that the way that things are trending too is that people have come to really expect and crave that a little bit of self-serve element. And so if they're not using your calculator, chances are they're probably going on Google and Googling, mortgage calculator, and the ones that are going to come up are the big bank ones that are sponsored. So then if they're inputting their, initial information into the TD or any of the bank calculators, for example, then their information is automatically going to the bank. The bank's going to reach out and most likely they're going to become a client of the bank. So it is better that, you get in there from the get-go and that it is your tools and your brand that they're associating with. It is great, Essy. I love that you said that. I've heard that from a lot of agents that it's so nice for them to have to avoid those like 8 p.m. phone calls, freaking out. Can we, we have all these questions. We need you to sit down and use your mortgage calculators. Well, guess what? Now they have the power to do that right directly from their mobile. Okay, Mike,
Okay.
over to you about Gold Rush.
Sure. Okay, and I'll try to do it fast. I know we're running out of time, and I want to have a bit of time just for some free conversation at the end of this. But let me tell you quickly about Gold Rush because this has been a huge success, and it goes back to what we're talking about with our technology, and because we have the same parent company as technology we use, Velocity, it really does open a lot of doors to do things. This is a great example. So with all the renewals that are coming due over the next couple of years and just these unprecedented opportunities, Gold Rush was created to ensure we have a system to keep in touch with clients without having to put in a ton of work in doing that because everyone gets busy and different things come up and managing a CRM can be very time consuming. So Gold Rush is basically a CRM or a plug-in to a CRM that does all of the campaigns for you. You can set it up, you can customize it, pick which kind of campaigns you want to do. There's text message capabilities. There's all sorts of different messages that go up to keep in touch with your database, and then from there, it's plug and play, and it does it for you. And this was just launched about 6 months ago, and the feedback that we've been receiving has just been phenomenal on just turning it on, letting it go, and then sitting back and watching leads come your way that turn into deals. In fact, we just were able to get some stats on the initial success of Gold Rush, and it's phenomenal just how much the growth. I think you might have this on another slide, but the growth that we've seen with agents that are on Gold Rush versus not, it really is just solidified what we knew would be the case, that this was a huge marketing tool to help grow your business. So when we look at our year-over-year growth in MA, 73% of the growth came from agents that are on Gold Rush. So there's a very clear distinction that this is a program that's helping to grow business. And here's just how big it is, right? And this is, I think, for the full network, but just the amount of emails, CRM, text messages are in the millions, just showing how big a tool this is. And we've been very, very pleased with the success. For anyone joining, and we're talking about all this technology, one thing that might be on your mind is, well, how much does this all cost? And the answer is it doesn't cost anything. We're waiving the setup fee for anyone joining. This was built because it's win-win. We all win when one of our agents does more business and grows their volume. So at MA and at DLCG, we believe in providing tools that help you do exactly that. And that's really the motivation for this and nothing more. So there's no cost associated with our CRM or with Velocity or with the Gold Rush program.
Mhm. We just have a quick little video I wanted to play
Sure.
on this topic.
Well, it's definitely improved my client engagement with all the built-in campaigns. It saves me time and makes sure that none of my clients fall through the cracks. I also really like that I can see analytics and the insights into client behaviors and the performance of the campaign. I do also love the look. The campaigns are really fresh and current, but my favorite has to be the SMS. It actually works. I have never had that type of engagement ever. So I'm really happy that for someone who likes to be in control of everything, that I just trusted the process.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, we can switch over quickly. We'll touch on marketing assets. So as we said, 2024 Mortgage Professionals Canada, our group did win the award for top marketing team. We do have and provide all the ready-to-use marketing assets you need. So all your social squares, even Zoom backgrounds, you'll see some of us have them on. My mortgage planning guide, I know that's a really popular one. That's a guide that we give you, kind of a template for you to use with your maybe perhaps first-time home buyers, that takes them through the entire mortgage process from start to finish. A lot of client education documents, how to fix credit, what's a reverse mortgage, things like that. If you want to print out even like banners, pop-up posters, you want notepads, printed cards to send to clients, things like that. It really is all available here. We even do have coloring contest sheets too, which I actually have seen quite a few people grow their networks through a simple local coloring contest. And then print CRM. So we touched on the Gold Rush, which is more SMS and email, but we actually do go to print as well. So this is an optional service that we offer through head office. When you opt in per file, it's about 6 or 7 things in the mail, hard copy in the mail, so snail mail, back in vogue, to your clients per year. The best of those, I'd have to say, is the Style at Home magazines. So there's one for each season. They get 4. It has your business card on the front. Everything is signed from you. Looks like you're putting in all the work, staying up late at night and package these things to send off, keeping your clients top of mind. But really, it's a service that we handle everything for on your behalf.
Sarah, I'm just going to add, this is my favorite. This is my
Yeah.
favorite service. I opt into this, and it's a paid for service, but I opt into this for every single client that closes. And the response I get is incredible. And people just really love the Style at Home magazine. I know coming from banking, you don't historically give any kind of thank yous. You don't give any kind of like anything along the way other than your mortgage is coming up, or here's your mortgage renewal. So this one has been my favorite since joining the industry. So I just wanted to share that. And it's
Yeah.
like I've had people say, "Oh, I got your name because my sister gave me the Style at Home magazine to read, and your name was on it." I'm like, perfect. Like the people put it at their cottages, or they have it in the living room, and yeah. And I'm a big proponent of, I don't do any marketing that doesn't have, it's not going to stay and doesn't have my name on it, right? I want something that's going to stick around. And that's why I love this one, is even if they don't keep the other print things, I think print is, we're so inundated with electronic communication nowadays. To get something print in the mail is also unique. So even the other pieces that go out in the mail, it's also a unique way of touching our clients.
Getting anything in the mail that's not a bill, I think, is pretty nice. Okay, and just quickly on our intranet. So this is our MA Link internal kind of support system. This is where will be hosted your personal website builder. So when you join MA, you get your own MA website. It's updated with blogs, rates, all that stuff, and you can customize what you want to show up on there. You can also have your own website as well if you want, but the website profile and existence on the national MA site as well is really great for enhancing your SEO, your search engine optimization when people are looking for a mortgage agent in their area. You'll also, of course, get an email address. There's a training video library that is really like, how many hours of training do you want, as opposed to missing out on topics. There is playlists and playlists and playlists of every single topic you could ever need. Access to our partner services. I know we have deals on with Purview, things like that. And then a tech support ticketing system so that you're not on your own if issues do come up. We have tech support included. Okay, so let's get down to a little nitty gritty. Mike, do you want to kind of cover our different models?
Yeah, and I guess before we just kind of go into general discussion, I think this is an important one, just so everyone has an understanding of how Mortgage Architects is structured. We're very unique because we have 2 different sides of Mortgage Architects. Most of our competitors are one or the other here. Either it's a franchise network or a corporate brokerage, but we have both. On the corporate side, what that means is that Mortgage Architects is actually a brokerage. That we hold the principal broker license and deal directly with regulators. We hold all the registrations here at our head office, handle compliance, payroll, all the stuff that a brokerage does is done directly by MA. So we're a large national brokerage. Within that brokerage, we have lead planners who serve as the team leads and the mentors as we're talking about that team approach. And again, there's all different shapes and sizes of lead planners and the types of teams that they run, but that's all under our corporate umbrella with Mortgage Architects corporate branding. On the franchise side, we have independently owned and operated franchises that are their own brokerages, but participate under the Mortgage Architects Network. So, as part of the network, we see our franchise owners and their agents at our various events, calls, training. They participate in what MA has to offer, but it does give them the ability to run their own business that's independently owned and operated. These franchises have custom names and branding, so they have their own identity. On the operational side, some functions are handled directly by the franchise, where others are handled by mortgage architects as the network. So this may not necessarily mean a lot at for an individual agent, but I think it is important to understand that Mortgage Architects does operate independent franchises as well as have that corporate brokerage. So where does that leave us?
Are you gonna eat? Are you gonna eat lunch?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
You want to
this
end
just
us off on the fun stuff, Sarah?
Yeah, I love this stuff. So this is just to say we like to have fun too, and we love to celebrate you guys. We come together. We've got an awards gala and show that's highly attended, and it's a lot of fun. And we usually switch locations every year across Canada. We've got a spotlight award and then different volume awards, which are really great for volume achievements for our agents, because you get a little banner thing you can put in your email signature, as well as a little trophy or plaque to put on your desk, which is really, really great for showing your clients your experience levels. And as well, we like to just generally have fun. We do lots of fun events. We always have great Christmas events, sip and socials. Those kind of change year to year, but and sometimes our teams will also have their own. I think that everyone on the line here has their own team events, as well as enjoys joining in on the network events too. Okay, I think that about rounds us off. So, we do have a
Why don't we
question.
go around, Sarah, just for any of our panelists here to kind of end off with just any free form closing remarks, anything you want to mention.
Ooh, we
with
do
the
have a
format
question.
here.
Can we cover the question first?
Sure.
Okay. Question is for advice to give to a banker whose business is 40 to 50% branch referred. Concerned that the business is not as easily transferable because a lot of them come from internal sources.
Great question.
Can I speak to that one,
Yeah,
Sarah?
of course.
Yeah.
So I relate to this question because when I made the switch over, I went through all of my clients and I determined that half of my business was branch sourced. And so I'm very familiar with that thought. And what I will say is a couple of things. So number one, what I have discovered is that a lot of the realtor partners who would send me a deal every so often have actually increased their amount of referrals dramatically. So what I was counting as my 50% from certain realtor partners has exponentially changed, which has helped offset that. The second thing is I also still get referrals from branches. I actually get them from multiple different bank branches because they know that I can partner with them and actually send the deal back to them if they don't have the capacity to do it or the expertise in a certain area and they want to keep the client happy. So I've made a point of keeping those really great relationships. The last piece to that I will say is even having done half of the number of deals this year than I did last year due to my transition, year to date, I've actually made the same amount of money because the compensation is much better on the broker side in the majority of cases. So that's my take on that, but I'm very familiar with that concern because that was something that came up for me last year.
That's very well put. Yeah. Thank you, Essy.
I'm just going to chime in too, Sarah, real quick. Essy, that was a great answer. One Facebook group that Jody Hiltz, who's on the call, started that I feel that I tell lots of people that I know that work at TD that are thinking about coming over to be a broker is the Newbie Mortgage Group. And it has lots of great information if you're kind of like, I don't know what I should do. It's a great resource because it's got lots of broker information on there. Now, the other thing I was going to touch on that I always find previous bankers do really well with is selling insurance and selling. We have access to a company, Manulife is who does the insurance for the mortgages that we fund. And it's really lucrative on this side, selling life insurance and disability insurance. So not only are you doing the right thing for the customer, but it kind of helps with the pay too. And because of people working at the bank previously and having to always sell a life insurance, it's a great win whenever you switch over. And the other thing I was going to say is the MA Awards that Sarah talked about. Always a great time and so much fun.
Absolutely. Okay. Any closing remarks from any that maybe anything we didn't cover before we wrap up the call?
The one thing that I want to say, because I remember being on this call about this time last year, and
Yeah.
at that time I was an anonymous viewer and
Yeah.
I was looking in and trying to figure out what I was doing and making my plans. And I forget who was it that said that, but it said the water is warm, right? And I think that resonates as true, because when I did make my switch, there was a lot of things that I had a lot of anxiety about that I realized once I was in it that weren't a thing. And I would make the switch over again any day of the week. So, if you're on the fence, it's definitely worth continuing to research and see how it's possible, because it has been a tremendous improvement in my business in every way.
One thing that kind of pushed me over the edge whenever I was switching is you always have the peace of mind. You can always go back. It's going to work on this side and you are going to make more money and you are going to meet more people. And, I never thought, you know what, I'm going to do private deals. I'm going to do B deals. Whenever I came over, I was like, I'm just going to send all of my deals to TD, Scotia, Alberta Treasury Branch. But then you learn, you're like, oh, you know what? This doesn't fit here, but I can place it here. So it's like a whole new world of mortgage funding and of new people. It is one of the best decisions I made switching from banker to broker.
I will second that. Like, the best decision I made was going from banker to broker. And the opposite to you is what made me want to make the move was I was really tired of sending referrals to brokers for things I couldn't do in the branch. And I was like, oh, I've dealt with these clients for 10 or 15 years and they just had a little hiccup in their life or they went self-employed and I was sending, $2-3 million a year to brokers. And I was like, why don't I just go there, be a broker? I can still deal with Scotia. I now will have access to TD and BMO, and I'll have access to these other lenders, but I'll never lose contact with my client, right? And that's what I wanted from this side of it. It was the ability to service that client no matter what their financial situation was. And still, like 95% of my business is prime business, AAA. But I still have that ability to help with when people go, and I have many on the go right now where people are AAA clients and we're ending up in alternative or whatnot just because of what's happened in the last couple of years, right? But I'm still able to help them. I'm still able to provide a solution. And the second thing that made me move was the flexibility, like running your own business, being able to, have a flexible schedule, and you're not, obviously you still have to put in the business. And then the third thing was when I finally sat down and looked at the numbers, I sat there thinking, I only have to do 30% of the business I did at the bank and now I wasn't an MSM, I was in the branch, but I only had to do 30% of my volume to make my salary. Now, this was 12 years ago, so it's a little bit different now. But that to me was like, wow. So I can build this over time, but I'll very quickly be able to replace my salary.
Right. Yeah, great point. Great point. Okay, well, this has been great. I know we're at the top of the hour, so Sarah, I'll
Yeah.
send it over to you for any closing remarks. But before I do, I just want to say thank you to Tara and Essy and Sharon for
Yeah.
taking the time, because great observations, and you are three absolute success stories for in the banker to broker space, and we're so lucky to have each of you. So thank you for taking the time to share your experiences on this call.
Thanks, Mike. We love MA.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. We're happy to.
Thank you.
Happy
We
to
love you
speak to
too.
it.
All right.
Absolutely. It's so nice to feel the love on the line. Okay, well, thanks, guys. Just, yeah, I second that. Thank you so much for coming out. And thanks to everybody who joined in. Thanks for taking an hour out of your Friday. Please reach out if you have questions. I know you probably have lots. I'm happy to have a confidential chat with you anytime and help with any resources that you might need.
Awesome. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend.